Hi, this is Cooking Classic, and we are here at the Kowalski Auditorium and Media Center at the Culinary Arts Institute at Luzerne County Community College. I'm Kathy Coslett, and this is Executive Chef Dave Pembleton.
Hello.
And we are going to talk to you about what else? Food. But
Right.
Dave's got a great fish dish for you today. So why don't you get started?
Okay. What we're going to do here today, it's a method of cooking fish that's actually done in the oven, but it's not baking, it's actually steaming. And for those of you who don't like to do a lot of pots and pans and a lot of dishes, this is perfect because it's a one-pan type meal, and it's, I think, a very fresh way to prepare fish, okay? It's called cooking in papillote, or for those of us who can't pronounce that word, it's called cooking in parchment paper.
He was talking about me, by the way. He's being very kind.
Right, like this, okay? And you can get this in your grocery stores. We buy it here by the box, and we go through an awful lot of it. And it's paper that won't burn in the oven, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we have to fold this thing in half, much like, if remember when you used to make hearts in school? And it doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to cut either a heart or a semicircle all the way around. Like so, okay? Now we have a piece of paper that looks like that. Now I have some melted butter here, and we're going to season this parchment paper a little bit with butter. Another thing about this cooking method, I think it's very healthy. It doesn't really have a lot of fat, and steaming is just a really, really beautiful natural way to cook fish, okay? So we're going to put a little butter in there.
All right, so no trick to this melted butter thing. We don't have to worry about clarifying or anything. Just melt the butter.
Just melt the butter on the top of the stove. In fact, I like it better just melted because I like the milk solids in there. I think they have more flavor. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put this to the side. I'm using potatoes today. So I'm using red potatoes that I've washed. Now you notice I'm taking some time to slice these very thin and kind of uniform. Okay. And the reason you want to do them that way is so they cook evenly in the oven. If I cut these really thick, by the time the fish was done and the vegetables were done.
Before you finish slicing that, show us the movement to slicing that really is kind of important when you're doing this.
What I do, I mean, I teach
or makes it easier anyway.
I teach the student to keep the knives on the board. But in this particular case, I think you have to keep the knife off of the board, and you kind of just insert it into potato. I'm curling my fingers back a little bit, and I'm kind of just letting the knife slide through. Okay. So if you notice, you have the things that are pretty uniformly cut, and that helps us when we're going to we'll cook this in the oven. So we're going to put these potatoes like so. Okay. Then we're going to drizzle a little bit of butter on the potatoes, not too much, just a little bit, and we're going to season the potatoes with a little bit of salt and pepper.
And it really was just a little bit. He wasn't kidding.
Just a little. I don't like to cook with a lot of salt. I like to have the natural flavors of the food come through.
Well, I always say, too, people can add that.
Right.
Right?
They
when
can
they're
add it
eating.
at the table.
We don't have to do it.
Absolutely.
In the preparation.
And once you put it in, you can't take it out. So I would rather let the customers kind of define how much they would like to have. Okay. The next thing we do here is we're going to put our salmon right on top of the potatoes. I'm using zucchini and carrot today for my veg. You see, I've just cut them and peeled them, okay? And I'm going to take the carrot. I think it's better if you kind of square it off first. Okay. Because now you can easily cut the carrot.
Without it rolling all over the cutting
Exactly,
board.
and that's how you cut yourself, okay? And then after I've got them like this, then I'm kind of cut them in uniform. This is a julienne cut. Again, getting back to that class we need to have on knife skills. This is just a thin cut, and since the carrot is a little bit harder of a vegetable than the potato and the zucchini, I'm cutting them rather thin. And whatever whatever you want to do as far as your portion size, my family likes a lot of vegetables, so I tend to use a little bit more.
Right, so with that vegetable being harder, that means it's going to take a little bit longer to cook.
That's why I'm cutting it so thin. You'll see that the zucchini, when I cut the zucchini, I'm going to cut the zucchini a little bit thicker. Why? Because the zucchini is a very soft vegetable. And I think that the key to this particular cooking method is to have everything that's going to be in that packet has to be done at the same
time.
At the same point in time.
Aren't I getting smart?
Yeah. Very good.
You're a
Okay.
good teacher. That's why
Okay.
you're a culinary educator.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how to do anything else, so I can play a little trumpet, but other than that, that's what I got to do. Okay. So now we're going to take our butter. We're going to put a little bit of butter on the fish, and lemon. And you want to make sure that the seeds are out of the lemon. You don't want the seeds in there. And I'm gonna season the fish with a little bit of lemon and a touch of parsley. And you got to be careful how much moisture you put in here. If you put too much moisture in here, i.e. if I put some wine in there and too much juice, what'll happen in the oven, it'll force this thing to break open.
Oh,
And
all right.
so you have to be kind of careful about that. Okay? So now we're going to put our zucchini.
Oh, how
like
about
so.
that? So everything really is just right on
Yeah,
top.
right on. It's right in this
Okay.
this same packet. Okay.
All right,
Like
so
so.
this might sound silly, but so if you're serving 4 people, you're doing 4 separate packets.
Exactly. Because out in the restaurant industry, this was a big seller for us when I was out in the industry at our gourmet restaurant, because it would be opened at the table.
Okay.
This would not be opened in the kitchen or anything. It would be opened at the table, and then when you opened it up, the steam comes out,
steam,
the
yeah.
aromas, and then people go ooh ah, and then once they went ooh ah, we charged them more money. Okay? That's the way that goes. Okay.
So watch your oohs and ahs, everybody, when you're at a restaurant.
And if they say ooh ah at the at your dinner table at home, they have to
Do
get
the
you an ice
dishes.
cream or something or do the
Do the
dishes.
dishes.
Okay, now I'm going to season this again with some pepper and some salt. Again, not too much. Then we're going to take the whole packet. We're going to kind of seal it together like so. And I'm going to start at one end. And you got to grab both pieces of the paper. And we're going to roll this around.
So the
all the way
technique
around.
really is just to push it under and
it's
roll
really not
it.
hard.
It's
And
not
if
a
you-
big deal sealing any bag.
And if you wanted to do this on your grill at home,
Oh, that's
like on your
nice.
barbecue grill outside, you could actually do this with aluminum foil. Just don't pack it too tight, and I've done that before.
That's
and
great.
For here, we're going to take this parchment paper. We're going to put it on what we call a steel plate. If you had a baking tray at home or a cookie sheet, you would use that, and it'll go in the oven until it's done. A lot of people ask me, well, how long? And a lot of times I can't tell them exact answer because I don't know how hot their oven burns, if it's calibrated correctly. But I can tell you that it takes about 15 to 17 minutes at 400 degrees.
All right,
The way you tell that it's done in the oven, the parchment paper turns brown. You can actually press on the fish and you can feel the fish, and when the fish feels firm, that's another way to tell if it's done. And then if you pick up the packet at the bottom, you should see a bubbling liquid at the bottom. And if you see a bubbling liquid, you can anticipate there's steam in there, and steam cooks very, very quickly.
Okay. And as far as the fish goes, it really isn't crucial anymore, is it? Because some people like their fish not so done, right?
That's up to them. I mean, we teach here that it should be cooked. It should be fully cooked.
Okay.
But a lot of people like their salmon medium rare. When I cook the tuna today, I'm going to cook it medium rare because that's the way I kind of like it, and I like the way it looks. So yeah, a lot of people are doing that. And the kind of fish could vary in here. You could use flounder, you could use haddock, you could use salmon. I would avoid really oily fish because it gets very strong in there. The oils have nowhere to go. So it gets very, very strong.
So what's an example of a very oily?
Say like a tuna or a wahoo or a mackerel. Those aren't good fish to cook in parchment paper because of that strong, strong flavor. Because once you've sealed it, there's nowhere for that strong, oily flavor to go.
Okay. Dave's going to get this in the oven. We're going to plate it up for you so you can see what it is, and then we're going to get to work on that tuna that he talked about. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. back with Cooking Classic, and for those of you who just tuned in, we are with certified executive chef Dave Pembleton.
Hello.
And he has created for us today a salmon in parchment paper. He's going to take that out of the oven, show us what it looks like, and you're going to show us how to get that paper open.
I will.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah. So we're going to just take this out of the oven. Okay, and you can see how the parchment paper has started to blister up. Okay. That's a good telltale sign that it's ready. If you pick it up, there's some bubbling, there's some steaming happening. I'm touching the fish. It's relatively firm to the touch. So I think I think by using those, we cook a lot with our senses here at the college. So using those senses, we can tell that it's done. Okay. So from here, all we would do then is to fold back this piece of parchment paper so we can get them to come apart.
And as you said earlier, in many restaurants, it's served just like this. So
Right,
you could
right
really
on the
do
plate.
that at home.
And what they would do is the waiter, the waitress, whoever may be opening this, would have a fork and a knife, and they would
Okay.
open it. And as you can see,
Oh, that
the
looks
steam
beautiful.
coming out. You can see
Oh
that it
my
has
gosh.
beautiful colors. See
And
the
you
beautiful
should
colors? You can see the fish. I can tell the fish is done because I'm seeing those white spots. They're called the albumin coming out of the fish. That's the last sign you can tell if a fish is done.
Okay.
So firm to the touch. The bag is starting to turn brown. There was some steaming going on. If I take this fork, no problem, goes right through the potatoes. It goes right through the zucchini. The fish is done. And if you wanted to garnish it, you could. Okay, a couple of lemon wheels, a couple of cherry tomatoes, and a little bit of parsley right at the end. Okay, so that is cooking fish in parchment paper.
That looks terrific, but don't forget to talk about that aroma, because that is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, when you open up
Yeah.
that bag, that butter and the smell of the fish and the vegetables all come together, and the nice herbs in there, and it makes for a nice dynamic presentation.
It does, and it also is really terrific, isn't it, just for your family or friends, because that's it. You don't have to come up with any other side dishes. You're not scurrying all over the kitchen.
Exactly.
So you do this quite a bit then at home?
Very easy way to cook at home. Yes, we do use this at home, and we used to use it when I was in the restaurant. At our gourmet restaurant, it's one of our customers' favorite way to eat fish.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Now I know you have another fish that you're getting ready to prepare. What is that one?
We're gonna grill some tuna with a pineapple salsa when we come back. So we'll show you how to do that. So something good to learn for the summertime months.
Yeah, that sounds great. I love pineapple salsa.
Okay.
Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Make your life better by Degrees. Choose from over 100 academic and career programs. Go to an accredited college at the area's lowest tuition. Earn your degree or transfer your credits to a four-year college or university. Take your life to the next level. Achieve your career goals and reach your fullest potential at
Luzerne County Community College.
life better by degrees. Choose from over 100 academic and career programs. Go to an accredited college at the area's lowest tuition. Earn your degree or transfer your credits to a four-year college or university. Take your life to the next level. Achieve your career goals and reach your fullest potential at
Luzerne County Community College.
Make your life better by degrees. Choose from over 100 academic and career programs at the area's lowest tuition. Achieve your career goals and reach your fullest potential at
Luzerne County Community College.
Hi, and welcome back to Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Coslett, and this is Certified Executive Chef Dave Pembleton.
Hello.
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 And he is here to show us how to make a grilled tuna with a pineapple salsa.
Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, we have a tuna here. I like to have a nice thick cut tuna. It's about an inch thick. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to season it up a little bit of salt and pepper. I love garlic, so I'm going to season it with a touch of garlic, and then I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the fish. Now, you got to be careful when you do oil on fish before it goes onto the broiler, because it has a tendency to flare up a little bit if you're not careful. Okay?
That means, Kathy, back up.
Yes, it has a tendency to do that. So what we're going to do here, as you've noticed, I've got my grill really nice and hot.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I think you should have it on at least 15 minutes before you're going to use it. Especially this fish, we're going to want to put marks in it. We're going to want to put really beautiful marks in it. So if you want that to happen and not stick, you have to have it really hot. We're going to put a little bit of this spray on there, just so you don't catch the house on fire. Okay? And then we're going to take our tongs. We're going to set this tuna on there. And I tell people when they're cooking fish, or when they put something on the broiler, it's very important not to bother it, because what happens, you want those proteins to get a chance to firm up. You want those really nice cross marks. If you start to play around with it right away, it has a tendency to stick.
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to let that cook for a little while, and I'll show you how to get those beautiful cross marks. And while that's happening, we can prepare the salsa.
All right, I just want to ask one more question. You sprayed the grill when it was hot. That's
Right.
important, isn't it? Don't spray it first, then heat it up.
I think it's important, but you have to be careful how much you spray, because you don't want it to flare up on you as well.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of
All
important.
right.
Okay, so to make our salsa, okay, we're going to start with some pineapple. So I've got some, and I only like to use fresh. Whenever I can use fresh ingredients, I like it best. Okay.
I would think that would cook totally different than a canned pineapple too, does it?
It would,
Yeah.
and some people like to grill the pineapple, and that gives it another flavor.
Okay.
But for this one, I'm just gonna make just a basic salsa.
Salsa.
So I have some tomato, I have some pineapple, I have some red pepper. I'm gonna put a bit of olive oil in here, like so.
Now, what kind of olive oil do you use? Does it matter if it's extra virgin, regular,
for
virgin,
this,
whatever?
I do like extra virgin because I care about the taste. I don't like to cook with extra virgin olive oil because it burns.
Okay.
And why have that spoil the flavor? I'm going to put a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of salt, and if your fruit is in season, you don't need sugar, although some people put a little bit of sugar. So I put some salt and pepper. I'm going to put some chopped cilantro. okay? And cilantro is kind of a universal ingredient when making a salsa.
Should you make this in advance and let it sit overnight or something, just so it really gets all those flavors meshed?
That's a good idea to let it sit in advance. Maybe not overnight, but certainly for a couple of hours.
Okay.
And some people, I've worked with some people who actually cook their salsa. They'll take a hot saute pan and actually really fast cook it, and what happens, that helps the juices and the sugars come out. I myself like a fresher tasting salsa, so I don't do that. So
I'm
we've
gonna
got
try that sometime though. That's a neat idea.
Yeah, and it's a different way to approach it. Okay, now we'll come back over to our broiler, and we're just going to take our spatula, and did you see how it's not doing anything? I'm going to turn it a quarter of a turn, like so. And the reason I do that is I want those beautiful crosshatch marks to happen, okay? And things that are nice to serve with this, a nice rice pilaf is nice to serve with this. My kids and my family like grilled sweet potatoes, so maybe I do a grilled sweet potato.
That's great.
Good. So we've got our salsa made. The tuna is just about ready to turn.
Okay.
I'm going to take it now. You know, and another thing, you want to be gentle with the fish.
Oh,
I don't
look
know
at
if
that.
you can
That's
get
beautiful.
a shot of that,
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
but you want to really get those beautiful grill marks just like that. Okay, just like that. Well, that's cooking, and I do like to cook tuna to medium rare. I like the way it looks. Okay, I really like that. So it would probably take another 3 to 4 minutes on this grill. So we're going to let that rest.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I think that we can go through and start to plate up this thing, because it won't take very long for that to happen.
Okay. So now you did pre-cook the broccoli, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Whenever I'm cooking at home or in the restaurant business too, you always have your vegetables pre-cooked and what we call shocking. We put them in ice water to retain their beautiful color.
Okay.
And I think that you'll notice that here. See how bright and beautiful that broccoli is.
Yeah, that is.
Okay,
That's
you know,
really.
and it doesn't look drab green. If I would have left it in the pot all the while I was cooking the tuna, it wouldn't have that beautiful color. Okay. And one thing I like to do to vegetables as well, I like to season them. Okay. So I have a little bit of butter here, just a touch.
Okay.
A lot of people forget about the vegetables, but I like to season them a little bit. So a little salt and a little bit of pepper. They don't need much. Okay. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and we can plate this dish up.
Okay.
I've got some rice and beans that I've already made, and I'm going to mold this in a container here. I believe that presentation is 90% of it. If you can make something look good, I think it makes it taste a little better.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah,
people
I think
first
you're right.
eat with their eyes. So it's a big part of what we teach here is presentation.
So do you spray anything or wipe that cup with any kind of oil or anything so this doesn't stick?
I did not, but what I do is I make sure that I use long grain rice, and I make sure that it's just a little bit warm before I put it in there.
all right.
And if you press it down with a spoon, it molds it together. The starch from the rice helps it mold together.
Okay,
And I
good
put
tip.
some black beans and stuff in there just to give it some texture. Okay. So what we're going to do next, then we're going to take our tuna. This tuna is about medium rare now. We'll put it on the plate like so.
Oh, it looks great.
And we'll take our broccoli florets, like so. And I like color. I really like proper color and all those types of things. And you're going to see how vibrant this plate looks when it's all done. And then the flavors kind of meld together. So we're going to put some of this pineapple salsa. And another thing with me as a chef, some people might not agree with me, but I don't like anything on the rim of the plate because I think that's like the art. It's like a picture frame. Okay.
This is beautiful. It
So-
really is. It's terrific.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chef
Okay.
Dave. It was great to
Good
have you
seeing
with
you
us
again.
again. And we hope to see you again sometime soon on Cooking Classic.